We now come to a business statement from the Leader of the House. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. In light of continuing discussions about tomorrow's legislation, I'm announcing the following changes to business. The business tomorrow, Wednesday the 14th of January, will now be a general debate on Ukraine. The remaining stages of the Public Office Accountability Bill will now take place on Monday the 19th of January. The business on Thursday the 15th of January will remain unchanged. There will be a general debate on new towns, followed by a general debate on financial support for small businesses and individuals during the COVID-19 pandemic. The subject for these debates were determined by the Backbench Business Committee, and I will announce further business in the usual way on Thursday.
Shadow Leader of the House, Jessie Norman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I thank the Leader very much for advance notice of his statement and for the statement that he's made. But I think it should be noted by the House that this, and I'm sure he would agree, is a bit of a mess. This is a bill that was in committee in December. The amendments should have been filed by the government on Wednesday of last week. In fact, they came on Friday, too late for colleagues to be able to address them. Now we've had a sudden rethink, rejig, emergency movement of business into tomorrow, and we know not what is going to happen to the legislation that was and the ping pong that was currently planned for next Monday. Instead, we have the new session on this present bill. Can I ask the Leader if he will explain a little bit about why this has happened, what's gone wrong here, and also explain what is going to happen to the motion and the measures that were being debated on Monday, as per the previous schedule, and finally, can he give this House an assurance that when these matters are brought in front of the House next Monday, the Minister will give a full explanation both as to the ministerial snafu and also as to the substantive issues that have caused it in the first place?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I appreciate the Shadow Leader of the House's comments, not least because we spoke earlier at the earliest opportunity. He will be aware, and the House will be aware, of the importance and the sensitivity of this bill. Now, I recognise that it's not ideal for members when we have to change business at short notice, and last Friday the Government did table a series of amendments to further strengthen the provisions in the bill. But we do continue to listen to stakeholders on all sides of the debate to ensure that our amendments strike the careful balance that is required and, when necessary, make changes. For that reason, I decided that we would move the bill from tomorrow until next Monday. I'm not going to provide a running commentary on what those changes might be, but my honourable friend, the Minister, is sitting next to me and has heard what the honourable gentleman has said. We will be tabling amendments, new amendments tomorrow. The Government will continue to keep all members updated about this, and then on Monday we will have a full opportunity to debate these important matters.
Kim Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I welcome the statement from the Leader of the House. However, I am a bit concerned that the debate today has been pulled and amendments will be here today. I think watering down the duty of candour, especially for intelligence agencies like MI5 and MI6, is completely unacceptable. The duty of candour is being included in this bill was meant to ensure accountability, to prevent cover-up and to give victims and their families the answers they are entitled to. If this law isn't watertight, if it does not apply to everyone, then it does not deserve to be called the Hillsborough Law. So why is the Government pandering to the requests of the security services at the expense of families and the public trust?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And the short answer to the last point that my honourable friend made is we're not. She has been a very strong advocate on these matters and a great support for families, and that we do understand the significance of this bill, particularly in the region that she represents, but also wider still. The Government is absolutely committed to the duty of candour, and I know that there have been questions about the application of the duty to, for example, the intelligence services. We've been very clear that the duty will apply to the intelligence services, but there is a careful balance that we have to achieve. It's not about the principles the duty of candour being applied, but how the legislation will apply in practice and having the right national security safeguards in place. This isn't about can we get there in the quickest possible time. No. It is about making sure that we get to the right place and that we do it in the right way.
Liberal Democrat spokesperson Bobby Dean.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I thank the Leader for his statement. The whole House wants to get this bill right. And if a delay is what's required, then I think the House will support that. And I'm glad the government's had humility to withdraw it, even at this late stage, in order to get it right. But it does seem extraordinary that the bill will be withdrawn at this very, very late stage. And it does raise serious concerns about what kind of ongoing engagement there was with key stakeholders up until this moment. So can the Leader assure us that what needs to be worked out can be done so meaningfully in less than a week? And can they commit that the government will deliver the Hillsborough Bill, as previously promised, and not just a Hillsborough Bill in name only?
Leader of the House.
Madam Deputy Speaker, and I do appreciate the way in which the honourable gentleman has approached this and the understanding here, but in thanking him for that understanding, there has been extensive debate on these matters, and I'm really grateful to everyone who's actually taken part in that. And that is an ongoing situation, but it is important that we do, as I said before, get it right. It will be the meaningful bill that we set out to achieve, but the fact that we're not going to be, it's not in the interest of the bill to try and resolve the next stage of this by tomorrow is precisely the reason why I've decided to move it until the beginning of next week to give that bit extra time.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm sure my right honourable friend shares my concerns that families, including my constituents who have been repeatedly failed by the state, had arranged time off work, booked travel and expensive accommodation to make the journey to London, only to be told that there will be now no debate tomorrow. It is of course welcome that the government are listening, but please can he use his good offices to ensure that before we reach such critical points in legislation, the government listens sooner to MPs, their constituents and campaigners to avoid such upheaval.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I give my honourable friend the assurance that these are not decisions that we have taken lightly. And of course we try, which is why it's come even at this relatively late stage, which is why we try to ensure that any issues are resolved before they come before this House. I'm sorry that my honourable friends' constituents have already made travel arrangements. I hope that they can be altered in a suitable way. I do understand that the meeting with the Prime Minister that they requested will continue to take place tomorrow, but I'm sure they will take an interest in the debate on Monday when we get to that.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I understand completely the government will want to move business around under the circumstances they're under. However, could the Leader update the House, because the Backbench Business Committee will be meeting this afternoon, on whether we're going to be allocated Thursday the 22nd of January for backbench business debates, because we'll be deciding that hopefully this afternoon, and indeed the 29th of January if it's possible to do so. And from my personal perspective, that means on Monday the 19th, the Lord's amendments to the Holocaust Memorial Bill will not be debated, and that I chaired the all-party parliamentary group for the Holocaust Memorial, so it would be very helpful to know when those amendments will be debated, so we're ready to put the discussion.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm not in a position to confirm with the honourable gentleman the 22nd or indeed the 29th, but if I put it a slightly different way, and that also answers his second point about other legislation that was due to be debated on Monday. My aim is to create the minimal amount of disruption, and therefore, while Monday may have shifted and may have changed, it's not my intention to make major changes to what I had already announced about next week. I'm not in a position, as he expects, I'm sure, to say anything about the 29th, but for his committee meeting today, I wouldn't change any plans about their expectations for the 22nd.
Maya.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. This is an important and historic bill which is about delivering justice for the families affected, and so I think it's perfectly reasonable to ensure we take the time to make sure it is right, and I commend the Minister who is in her place for her tenacity in taking the bill forward. I have a set of amendments to the bill which would extend the scope of the offence of misleading the public to apply to members of this place. Can the Leader confirm that because of moving the bill to Monday, there is now time until Friday for members to add their names to those amendments, should they so wish?
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. I can confirm that not only will the Government be tabling amendments tomorrow, but actually there is time for members to table their amendments as well, and therefore I wouldn't discourage members from putting down any amendments that they'd already planned to make.
Morrison.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the difficulties around timetabling, but this is no ordinary bill. So important is it to the Government that the Prime Minister himself presented the bill at second reading, and given that, does the Leader not believe that the House was entitled for something more than the chaos we appear to be seeing over the way that this process is being handled?
Mr. Speaker, I agree absolutely with the Honourable Gentleman as far as he says this is no ordinary bill, which is why we are taking this important step today to make sure that it has a proper time and there is continued engagement. As for the Prime Minister, he does care deeply about these matters, and he did, as the Honourable Gentleman confirmed, take part in the earlier deliberations on these matters. But it is his firm view too that it is absolutely important that we get this right, which is why we are making the decision that the best time for the next stage is Monday, rather than risk rushing it, given what else has other discussions would have been had since, rather than risking rushing it tomorrow.
Lizzie Collins.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have a particular interest in the accountability of public services due to the shocking treatment of some of my constituents by NHS trusts. And I was very pleased to sit on the Bill Committee, which was on the whole very collegiate and very comprehensive. So I welcome the statement from the Leader of the House that we will be getting this bill right, but can he assure me that there will be minimal impact on the implementation of this bill, notwithstanding, of course, it has to go to the other place?
Yes, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm happy to do that. I do accept that, thankfully, there has been a collegiate approach on these matters, and I hope that that can continue, even if the debates will be on a different day. But I can confirm that there is no great plan to change other than the date at which we take this, instead of tomorrow taking it on Monday.
Present a bill to strip Peter Mandelson of his peerage and kick him out of the House of Lords for continuing his friendship with convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Since tomorrow afternoon is now legislation free, will the Government please schedule the second reading of my bill tomorrow afternoon in order that we can kick Peter Mandelson and all of those who are pals with convicted sex offenders out of the House of Lords as soon as possible?
Madam Deputy Speaker, may I commend the Honourable Lady on her ingenuity into weaving into these matters something entirely unrelated. This is a statement on a very specific change to business, and I shouldn't. I should tell her that we do have important plans for tomorrow. There will be a debate on Ukraine. There have been a number of opportunities from members to ask for that debate, and the Government now has the opportunity to grant that.
David Baines.
The Hillsborough law has been a long time coming. It's been a journey, and for the families of the victims, survivors, and indeed all those affected by lots of other tragedies and disasters over the years, it's been too long a journey and too long coming. Can the Leader of the House please assure me and my constituents that this change is about getting it right, which is one thing I think everyone involved can agree on. We need to get it right, and not about watering it down in any way.
Yeah.
I agree, absolutely. I'm able to confirm absolutely to my honourable friend that is the purpose of the change. It is to get it right. There is no watering down of this bill. It is about getting it right. The only difference is we need a slightly longer time period in order to do that, to make sure that when the bill comes out, it commands support and does justice for those who have campaigned on these matters for such a long time.
Sir Bernard Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Given the existential importance of the subject of Ukraine, and presuming that the Prime Minister will be in the House tomorrow to answer Prime Minister's questions, will he be staying on to lead tomorrow's debate, as would seem to be appropriate? And could he also explain what's happening to the Chagos bill? Because there was a motion for regret yesterday.
Understood. Leader.
Deputy Speaker, I can't confirm who will be leading the Ukraine debate tomorrow, but I've just said a moment ago that the Prime Minister will be meeting the families tomorrow, so I'm not... I think that will probably answer that part of the Right Honourable Gentleman's question. In terms of the Chagos legislation, that was scheduled for next week. And as I've said, I'm expecting minimal disruption. I'm hoping for minimal disruption, intending minimal disruption, so it won't be very long. It won't be Monday, but it won't be very long after that when we can get onto that important matter.
Chris Vince.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Leader for his statement. And while I'm here, can I thank the Victims Minister for incredibly hard work on this issue. The Public Office Accountability Bill is hugely important, so I understand why the Leader has taken this decision. Can the Leader confirm at this, to the House that although any changes that are made to this legislation will be thoroughly consulted with the families of those that were tragically lost in the Hillsborough disaster? And will he also confirm that we will continue to make sure that we reach out to the victims and their families when we look at dealing with legislation like this in the future?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I can confirm that the Government and Ministers do continue to speak with stakeholders, particularly, obviously, the families. I think there's been a great deal of effort put into that, both by my honourable friends on the backbenches, but also ministers too. I commend them for that, but if there are lessons to be learned, then we will learn those lessons, and such is the progress of legislation. Therefore, for future bills, if there are lessons to be learned, I'm sure we'll have learned them.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Now the Chagos bill has been dropped from the order paper on January the 19th. Could you please confirm when the consideration of the Lord's amendments will be scheduled?
Madam Deputy Speaker, they may have been dropped for January the 19th, but they have not been dropped. As I've just said to the Right Honourable Gentleman, my intention is for minimal disruption. Minimal disruption. So if it's not the 19th, the Honourable Gentleman might want to think what might come shortly afterwards. I will confirm the business on Thursday as usual. If he is in his place on Thursday, he will hear first hand.
Final questions to Desmond Swain.
Given that the very welcome intervention by the UN Human Rights Council has arrived subsequent to our own deliberations on the Chagos bill, can I urge the Leader not to be so hasty and to consider pulling the bill entirely?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The Government is not going to be tempted down that track, Madam Deputy Speaker, but I'm sure he will, when the bill comes before the House again, which will be soon, then I'm sure he will want to, if he can, catch your eye and make the points that he has just started there. Thank you.
The end of the business statements. I'll give the front benches a few moments to shuffle over as we prepare for our second statement.